Hello, everybody. Welcome to Stock Market Update. This is Wednesday, 20th of December, getting closer to Christmas. See what happened today. You can see this indicator came from sell zone to the buy zone. S&P 500 dumped 1.8%. Nasdaq dumped sell zone to the buy zone 1.8%. Dow Jones US 30. These are futures. Same thing. Sell zone to the buy zone. Red lines are the sell zone. Russell 2000. You can see, let it load. Same thing here. Sell zone to the buy zone. I shared these zones with my subscribers, guys. You guys are missing out big time on this. I share these levels with my subscribers. There's a private Discord group. You can join. There's a description of on this video. You can join that channel. And also, if you want to subscribe, I share these pre-market zones. It's like very cheap, around $8 a month. Very cheap. You can one day you can make a profit. You can see how powerful this indicator is. 3% downside on one day. Now we're in buy zone, and now you know this is not the time to short. This is a time to go long because we are expecting a pullback, not a pullback, a pump. Okay, a pump to minimum neutral line. Okay, on S&P 500 from here. Minimum pump to neutral line, same thing everywhere. Nasdaq 100 expecting a pump from here to neutral line across the board everywhere. Even crude oil, you can see, came from sell zone. It did not touch buy zone yet, but came very close to the buy zone. And CNQ and CNQ, you can see sell zone now getting closer to buy zone. There was a gap here, so that gap is full. We can delete this, and now there's another gap. It is quite possible we could still go there, fill this gap, and before we go higher. All right, so you got to be mindful of that. Gold also, you can see from sell zone came to near buy zone. This indicator is so powerful, always works, guys. You can see natural gas came from sell zone here to the buy zone, almost 5% dump. Bitcoin, you can use this on any commodities. You can see how nicely Bitcoin here, Tuesday 12:55 p.m. buy zone to the sell zone. You can see the pump here. All right, nice indicator, very, very good. Easy trades, guys. You can get all these uh, very easy trades you can make. All right, let's go to daily chart. Let's do a daily analysis. Let's add PPO indicator here, and let's see how things are progressing. Let's start with Bitcoin today for a change. Bitcoin here, if I go to 1 hour chart, nothing changed here. Daily chart, nothing really happened today. I think there was a big candle today, but still divergence. Okay, price is going higher, RSI is going lower, PPO is going lower, green line is below red line, so there's a lot of selling pressure. I won't be bullish until I see a green dot on RSI and green line above red line on PPO. Ethereum, same thing here. There's a gap here on Bitcoin futures. There's a gap around 39,000. Another gap around 34. Once all these green lines are the gaps to downside. Let's look at live market. You can see live market tried still a lower high compared to this high which happened here on 8th of December, and I still don't see any changes. I still see green line is below red line until this crossovers, until I see a green dot. I'm not going to be bullish. This divergence are telling me that we are looking for a dump. All right, so be careful here. Ethereum came close to support, but it can still go lower around $2,000. If that does not hold, it can come to 1824. But I think you can see same thing here. Price is making higher high, RSI making lower high, PPO making lower highs, and there's green line below red line. Everything is telling me that Ethereum can also go lower. All right. Okay, VIX. You can see I was telling VIX is now I had a green buy signal here. Green line is above red line, so VIX bounced, which is very good news. And you can see VIX is starting to bounce. So up 9% today. This was expected because we had divergence and cycle low was coming here. So it came very close to cycle low. Actually, the same day, I did not change anything. Same day, the low happened. Okay, there was a double bottom here next day, and VIX is bouncing. So this indicator worked like a charm. All right, and let's look at S&P 500 SPY ETF. And I want to show you something. Let's go to regular trading hours. You can see this gap was here, which was left from Tuesday, gap up. This was not filled, and today we came back to fill this gap. Easy. Okay, so now there's another gap here around 455, and then another gap around 480. So it is quite possible. You can see, I think we are going to look for, you can see my indication here. So it is quite possible the top is in, all right, and we might be heading lower, all right. If I go to futures, if I go to 1 hour chart, we still did we, yeah, you can see we made a new low here compared to this low. So that's futures are telling me we might be coming lower because we made a new low, all right. And you can see this massive selling pressure. Again, go back to SPY. You can see SPY daily chart. We did get a red dot, all right. We got a red dot. Last time we got a red dot here. SPY came from all the way from here to 5% down. We did get a red dot here, but that was a false dot and then followed by a green dot. So again, we are at extreme levels, getting a red dot and also green line is about to cross red line. So this could put a bearish pressure, and next support is here around 455 gap fill. So I'm looking for that gap, this whole area, looking for that gap hopefully to fill. So from where we are right now, SPY can still go around 3%, 2.68%, quite possible. 1 day, 2 days it can happen. Then we'll try for another pump, all right? Triple Q, same thing. You can go to 1 hour chart. This gap was not filled. This was created on Friday, and today we came to fill this gap, so I can delete this. And on daily chart, I still do not have a red dot yet, but tomorrow another close below this previous close today can give us a red dot. All right, very overbought short term. All right, and green line is still above red line. So everything is okay so far, but if green line crossovers, that's not going to be good. Dow Jones, no gaps were there, but looking like you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of price action. 1 day it's done, right? Dow Jones also gave me a red dot. All indicators are telling me bearish pressure except IWM and triple Qs. Maybe we will get it tomorrow. All right, IWM, you can see 1 hour chart. These gaps, both gaps are filled to the upside, then gaps to the downside. There's another gap now coming. So I think it's most likely filling this gap. And then I don't know how deep this pullback will be. We will see. Uh, I would be I would be happy if we can go to this trend line on this pullback. We'll watch and see. Crude oil uh, gave everything back today. Was green, massive green, around 2-3% higher, but then gave everything back with the market. But that's fine. Nothing changed. You can see this was a breakout. If I go to 1 hour chart on crude oil, you can see this was flagging here, breakout, came back in the support area, flag, again bounced higher high, and now came back on this support area, all right? So it's making higher high, higher lows, and crude oil is looking good from here. And I do still expect a pump by the end of this year to around 82 bucks, all right? So that's going to help things like CNQ. CNQ gave me this is the biggest Canadian oil miner. It gave me a buy dot here yesterday, and there was a gap which is filled. You can see this gap here, which was created this morning. This gap came back filled. Now there's another gap here on 62 bucks. So ignore this pink line. This is just for my indication. That has nothing to do. So there's a gap here around 62. Then there are two gaps above. So which gap will fill first? Are we going to fill this bottom gap first around 1.73%, or are we going to go from here, fill this 4% gap, and then final gap around 6.32? We'll see. All depends on crude oil. In my opinion, I think from here we go higher and fill these other gaps. And 1 hour chart, you can still see we're making higher highs and higher lows. Okay, this is still a higher low. Are we going to get a massive pump to fill this gap tomorrow? We'll see. That will be very interesting. Since we're talking about miners, let's quickly go to XOM, biggest oil miner, US oil miner. Same story here, 1 hour chart. This gap is still not filled, so most likely tomorrow we'll fill this gap around 101. That will be good buying opportunity. Now there's another gap around 99 bucks. I don't know when that's going to be filled. So, but there's also another top gap. So anyhow, my point is this breakout. So maybe it will come a little bit lower tomorrow. So it's buy the dip. Okay. Look to buy all the dips on oil miners. Gold, just consolidating. Everything is looking good. Maybe flagging a bit. So look to buy all the dips. Silver also in massive resistance area trying to break out. If it breaks out, then this thing will become support, and I'll turn this green like these ones here. Natural gas, again doing same thing as I predicted. I'm looking for new low below 2.2 by the end of this year, early February, January, and then I want to see some divergences. Okay, so let's wait for that before we jump into natural gas. Dollar not able to close above this resistance around 102.8. Let's see if dollar can do it. Until then, just be a bit careful. I'll recover Bitcoin. Toronto Stock Exchange was down. You can see this gap is filled. All these gaps, 90% of the time is filled, so it's easy to trade like that. Now there's not a lot of gaps until we get all the way down from here to 4%. I don't think that's going to happen. So maybe we'll just consolidate, eventually come lower. Hang Seng Index broke out. This gap is not filled, so that's my target. If you're bullish on China, wait for this gap to fill 16,173. Bond market also massive pump this morning, and just making a flag, and then maybe getting ready for this next pump of around 115. So this is where you can buy TLT. This behaves exactly like TLT, so you can trade TLT based on that. Copper by the dip, palladium holding support, nothing changed. Soybeans, buy it, it's in the buy zone. Wheat also by the dip near support. Corn trying to backtest this trend line, still divergences on RSI and PPO. So I will be still be patient and looking to buy all the dips on corn. Sugar down, exactly what I was thinking. Maybe new low. It made new low or equal low, new low, but I want to see a little bit more lower. Some divergences building, nothing to see there yet. So I will not buy sugar yet. Tesla, 1 hour chart. This gap is filled, so you can see how nicely all these. No, there's another gap around 239. The two gaps, all right. So 239 and 2424. This could be a back test of this trend line. So let's see if this is it, or are we going to go lower? 3%, and the other gap is around 9%. So if we go and fill 224, that will be where I will be buying. Sorry guys. Apple new highs with divergence, so looking for new low, couple of gaps to fill on the downside. Netflix looking for a couple of gaps to fill. Microsoft, couple of gaps downside. Google, massive gap up, but hopefully it will come down and fill this gap. Let's go to 1 hour chart. Yeah, it's gap up, so looks like it will come down, fill that gap at 138. Meta, still this gap 357 not filled, still can go higher. Amazon, there's a gap around 147, it can come to fill that. Snowflakes, just going lower now. Multiple gaps here to fill on Snowflakes. Nvidia down 3%. This gap is not filled, I think. If I go to 1 hour chart, still this gap is not filled. A lot of gaps to the downside possible. So all tech stocks are looking like extremely oversold and getting ready for a pullback, which is healthy for the market, all right? Newmont Mine, this gap is filled, so you can see how nicely gaps are filled, so I can delete this. Now next gap is $40, that's my target. Gold minus GDX came very close to filling this gap. I don't think it's filled yet. Not yet, so tomorrow most likely it's going to fill that. That's the next target around 30. Then there are other two gaps. I don't know if it's going to come all the way down. XLK, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 weeks of price action just given in one day. Was telling like this little bit of divergence, and I got a red sell signal too. Energy sector, I think let's go to 1 hour chart. This gap up and delete this, so the gap is filled. Now there's another gap here. Let's see if it's going to come all the way down to fill this gap before it go higher. There's another gap at 90 bucks. XLV broke this trend line, which is not a good news. Broke this trend line, so now it can come all the way down to this 127. We'll see. We'll see how low it goes. There's also a little bit of support in this area, looks like. This whole area you see here. This whole area looks like a little bit of support here, right? So it can come down a little bit more lower in that support area. So we'll be watching that, and because healthcare stocks are good long-term investment, so I should be looking to buy those there. Utilities also broke down. Next support here on gap fill 59.68. Again, even industrial sector, two gaps are filled, gap up and gaps down. So looking for now next target around here, 106. The real estate sector, also this gap is filled. Next target here around 36.9. Financial sector, also this top gap is filled. You can see now rejection from there. It could come all the way down to 35 bucks. KRE also came very close to gap fill, still did not fill this gap. Maybe tomorrow it will fill, most likely. And then there are a couple of gaps to the downside, all right. Shopify coming to gap fill around 73 bucks. What else is interesting? Pfizer still did not fill the gap, so here you go, Pfizer. Rejected before filling this gap around 28.53. Still in the buy zone. Maybe it will come back to fill this gap around 26.7. If I go to 1 hour chart, you can see this gap up, still did not fill it. So maybe that will be a next target entry on Pfizer. All right, guys, I think that's it for today. And hit the like button on your way out. And I wish you happy trading tomorrow. Take care. Bye.